Just on Carrick, this week, Bryan and Mbeumo, Diallo have backed him to get the job full-time. Do you think he should?
It really does depend who's available.
Does it depend on that?
I do. I honestly think it depends who else is available. No disrespect to Michael Carrick, he's done superbly since coming in. You know, we've seen more of what we've all expected of Manchester United since he's come into the job. You know, there's been certain games where they've fallen back slightly, but we've seen improvements in players that were there at the club, and that is a lot down to him. And they're looking like getting Champions League football as well, which would be a superb achievement for Michael Carrick coming into the club. But when there might be certain managers become available after a World Cup, I feel like he's been unfortunate in that timing. And I think Manchester United will wait.
Anyone in mind?
I mean, obviously there's Tuchel, of course, but signed with England. There's Ancelotti. There's plenty of incredible managers that will be part of the World Cup that could change after that tournament. Okay.
Maguire has called himself arguably one of the best defenders in the world in both boxes. Now, speaking after signing a new one-year contract extension at Manchester United, Maguire highlighted the positives he brings to the team at both ends of the pitch. This is what he has said. I still believe, even at my age, I'm arguably one of the best defenders in the world in both boxes. I don't think that's in question, really, that I can be really effective later on in games, whether you're holding on to a lead or trying to chase a game. What are your thoughts on this? Do you agree with that, what he's saying?
Brilliant from Harry Maguire. Some eyebrows raised, maybe, from certain people in terms of getting that new contract, an extra year with an option of a second. But he's come right back into form. I think he shows unbelievable courage at times to handle some of the doubters and some of the kind of things that are said about him over the last 4 or 5 years, especially when he was certainly out of form, but still has been super professional, always turned up, never hidden. And this is his chance because he's got that contract to go, do you know what, I'm just going to drop this in, by the way. And backing himself, you do have to back yourself as a player. I'm not sure there's many that would want to go up against him in both boxes. It kind of makes me think, well, what do you think about yourself outside of the box, in the middle of part of the pitch?
Yeah, he was very specific.
When he's got someone running in behind him with pace. But that's not in question the fact that he is fantastic in both. And he has bailed Manchester United out a good few times with his ability, certainly in attacking areas when the strikers weren't firing. And it's him that's had to deliver in those moments. So fair play to him. I think he's trying to back himself. He's trying to prove that some of the doubters wrong. And I love his character. I love the fact that he's always ready to show up no matter what's said about him. And that to me shows a genuine leader and the type of player Manchester United need. And not just Manchester United, but is this a reason why he should be, right in there with England? Yeah, it's probably another reason why he's said it. He was obviously used in the recent internationals, him and Dan Burn, to be up there and be a threat in the opposition penalty area, and that's where England's chances came from at the end of the game was his ability to be useful in that area, and that will be something that England, I'm sure, will need at some stage of the World Cup. But I think domestically, I think what he's done is he's grown in confidence again with the help of Michael Carrick, who's, I think, given him his confidence back, and he's actually been very, very good in the recent games for Manchester United. Maguire's also said that he's seen some of his teammates find the spotlight of Old Trafford too big to handle. We hear this a lot when you put that Manchester United shirt on. It sits heavy on your shoulders. Can you understand that? Yeah, because many have fallen by the wayside and haven't been able to handle that. Some big signings, big names have not delivered at Manchester United in the last 10 years or so. Look, people can criticise some of his performances, some moments in certain games, some mistakes he's made. I'm sure he would admit to that. But you've still got to turn up, you've got to front up. There was times when he fronted up for interviews when no one else really wanted to do that. In really difficult moments for the club and the way the team were playing, he was always front and centre in those moments, and I applaud him for that, because it could be easy just to fold away and think, well, I had a great time at Manchester United, but actually I'm going to drop down. No, he's stuck to it, and I just think he's the type of player, probably until you play with him, play against him, you don't realise what great attributes he actually does have. And one of those is actually coming out with the ball. He's fantastic with the ball at his feet and his distribution. That's something that, again, has probably just not been looked at as much as it should have been.
Yeah, he's definitely resilient, isn't he? And this just shows
he's
it.
He's needed to be.
Yeah, he's been through it all whilst at the club. But as you say, he's been ever present under Michael Carrick and signed this new deal this week. Deserved?
Yes, yeah, I think so. And that's all you can do as a player. You can prove to the manager and to the club that you deserve. And I don't think Manchester United are a club that would just hand out new contracts, just to be nice. I think he can certainly add value over the next season or so, both with his experience, actually his attributes as a defender, and as someone that can be a threat in the opposition box, and a leader. They don't have many leaders, so he can be that player that can certainly help young players through and understand what the club stands for, what it's about. I think, again, that feels quite important still at the moment for Manchester United.
Yeah, absolutely. When so much of it is about mentality, to have someone with this confidence, it lifts the team, doesn't it? Yeah,
it certainly does. I mean, look, I don't know what he's like around the place, but whenever I've seen him in interviews, maybe not even in interviews, he seems such a humble guy. And I think, again, that's probably why he's had that great connection with Michael Carrick since coming in, is that there's no frills around Harry Maguire. I bet he just comes in, does his job, super professional, can be relied upon in that sense, but he will still be judged by the performances when he puts that shirt on.
Many questions, guys, also on the Elliot Anderson situation. Why? Because I keep telling you about Elliot Anderson since February, keep telling you how Manchester City are very serious on this deal. Man City are in conversation with the players' camp. Man City are very interested in Elliot Anderson, for sure. But when you see around transfer fees, and when you see around price tags, and when you see around agreement done, closed, I keep telling you, is still nothing done or decided with any club, also in terms of fee, because there is a sort of respect between Manchester City and Nottingham Forest to understand the price and all the rest at the right moment. Nottingham Forest are in relegation battle, and that's going to be important to understand the final pricing. So when you see a price today, that's not guaranteed to be the real price of the player, because it will depend on what Nottingham Forest and the Marinakis family will tell Man City and other clubs interested in the summer transfer window. Man City are there for sure, are working on player side, have been working on this for months. So I keep maintaining Manchester City really advancing and pushing to sign Elliot Anderson on player side, but then there is the negotiation with Nottingham Forest. Man United remain attentive to the situation. Until the deal is done or closed with Man City, Man United want to try to be in the conversation, want to maintain the name of Elliot Anderson in their shortlist for midfielders. There is Sandro Tonali, there is Elliot Anderson, there are more, because for United will be a busy summer for midfielders, but for sure this is going to be an interesting situation.